against Hikaru Nakamura. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one. We haven't touched this board all round here, David, so maybe we can roll it back just a little bit to find out how we ended up in a queen versus rooks endgame.
Yeah, right now it's queen versus rooks, but more importantly, the white pawns. Look at them, they're marching forward. He's not going to be able to stop these pawns, Hikaru. I don't know if we have time to roll it back. It looks like the game might end any moment. But Vincent earlier played some brilliant moves for anyone who wants to check out this game. He's first going to give some checks. This is Vincent back in full flow. The queen is going to drop back with a check. The pawns are going to push. No way the black rooks can stop those pawns alone.
And Hikaru doing Hikaru things, right? He's so incredibly tricky and resourceful. He wants to make sure he puts maximum pressure on Vincent's clock. It's his only hope to try to trick him into a blunder right now. So look at the speed with which Hikaru had played the last few moves. He slows down now because Vincent sets up a little trick. He wants to move that pawn forward, bridge any attack that might come on the queen from the flank, and also give a check to that exposed king. A nice little touch there by Vincent Keymer.
Look at that heart rate for Vincent Keymer. He can sense it. Blood in the water. He just needs to convert, and I'll just call out for people at home how important it is he gets this point here because Gukesh ended up falling down to Noterbek. Gukesh is the person that is within striking distance here of Vincent at 3.5 points. Vincent sitting at 2.5. With a victory here, boom, tied up going into the final couple rounds of the day.
And Hikaru here shaking his head. He's under the 1 minute mark. I mean, he's the best defender in the world, I think. Most people agree with that, but defending a position like this is another level. The pawns are just so dangerous, and white's moves are so easy. That's another downside of rapid chess. When your opponent's plan is easy, just push, push, push. It's hard to keep up the speed. It's hard to find the most accurate defense.
And the pawns on the left side of the board can also be picked up at leisure, right? If you're white here, you start picking all of it up one by one. You've got 3 pawns and a queen for 2 rooks. Vincent Keymer, he instead just wants to keep pushing the pawns. He attacks Hikaru's rook. Hikaru trying to play fast, but it's such a difficult position to even make that happen.
And yeah, it looks like you can start pushing more pawns. You can start gobbling up these ones. I think, Tanya, I wouldn't be able to resist. I see a pawn, I take a pawn. And
it's well established that the boys in this crew are extremely materialistic. They see a pawn, they take a pawn.
In life and in chess. Oh, wow. He actually moves forward with his queen now, having given up one of his strong pawns, Vincent Keymer, but now it's unstoppable due to a pin along this diagonal on one black rook. This rook is immobilized. The other pawn is going to march forward. One rook is going to have to give itself up, and that should be game over. We could see a handshake any second. Unstoppable now, this pawn marching forward.
Really convincing conversion here by Vincent. You know, he didn't let the nerves get to him. Playing on second, Hikaru banging out his moves. He just kept his cool. He has a one-track mind, a tunnel vision, pushed those pawns, and now he's almost at the finish line.
Yeah, Hikaru just going to do the calculations to make sure he sees everything we do, and does elect to make a move allowing that pawn to jump forward, not going to sacrifice the rook for it. Looks for a check instead to extend the life of this game, but maybe pretty soon we see a second queen on the board.
He's going to give up the rook. He just wanted to pick up as many pawns on the way as possible, but I'm not expecting Hikaru to keep this going for much longer. Yes, he's going to put the rook to the center of the board right now. Vincent will pick that up. David, is this easy to convert? You make a queen, you give that up. Oh, and that's it.
There it is.
Oh, not yet.
Oh,
not yet.
Ah.
Just a grimace, just one of Hikaru's many faces. I think he missed this last move, just attacking the black rook. You have to be a bit careful where you place it. It might be vulnerable, but either way, Vincent is biding his time before he does promote. We will see Hikaru fight on because one rook will defend this side of the board, and black still has a pawn, which could start running on the other flank. This might go on longer than it should have done. Vincent, I agree, good technique to win a rook. Maybe he could have kept more pawns alive, though, along the way. I think he was just a bit hasty in his road to victory. But here we go. A second queen appears very briefly before it's captured on the board.
Exactly. There we go. A pawn for a rook in the end is essentially what that trade is. Works well in the favor of Keymer. While we've been on this board, Fabiano did navigate his way to victory as we expected against Prague with his very strong advantage. There's 2 other boards in play, Magnus Carlsen against Richard Rapport, where Magnus does have an advantage into the endgame, and Vidic Rudrathi up against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. By my computer's acknowledgements, it looks like Maxime is also in a winning position there. I think this is the one we stay on, though, even though it does look pretty certain as a victory here for Vincent just because of the standings implications.
Yeah, the problem for Vincent is creating a passed pawn of his own. I'm slightly surprised Hikaru pushed forward his own pawn there because it was defended by the black rook. He could have tried to hold that formation, but essentially the black rook is unstable. In a fortress-type position where you just want to hold the line when you're material down, you need stable squares, protected squares. The black rook is only saved by its queen right now, and again, it's hanging by a thread for Hikaru Nakamura. The rook has had to move away from
Get the king in. Get the king in. Get the king closer to the pawns.
There we go.
And now, won't you just... Yes, David. I mean, aren't you forced to lose one of them once the king steps back, keeping connection with that black pawn? The right side pawn is falling. The left side pawn is falling.
Yeah, I guess the black rook will slide across one square, but it is creaking, the defensive formation. It's not going to be holding much longer. Vincent's doing everything right.
Ooh, Hikaru just gave up a pawn. And that means a passer, the one that you wanted, right? This has to be an easy convert. Just start rolling up the board with that pawn that you're pointing out. Who's going to stop it? The king is the assist.
Hikaru looks away. He's going to resign any second now. As soon as this pawn starts mobilizing, moving forward, unstoppable. It's got a clear path through.
Well, an expected easy conversion, but Vincent's still going to make sure he does, be diligent. Go through all the steps, make sure that you're not leaving anything to chance here.
And now it starts the march.
There it is. With a check as well. That pawn will begin. Of course, Hikaru, yeah, he's going to make him think twice as he starts to run a pawn of his own, and the handshake is extended. Vincent Keymer picking up a very important full point here to put himself up to 3.5 and keep himself very well in contention